Hello everyone, my name is RagingRaptor and I welcome you to a new preview, because today we have a new type in our video, the 57. This one is the new tier 8 tech tree Japanese heavy tank, which you can sooner or later get with the new line coming out. What are the funny things about this thing? Well, it has a cooldown mechanic as well as something unusual, which is the hydropneumatic suspensions, which boosts its already decent gun depression of -8 to up to -12. So you definitely can, well, get pretty well results in hold down situations with this tank. The cool thing about this tank is it has a 360 alpha gun, which is obviously not the highest which you can get on tier 8 heavy tanks, but it is definitely not too bad. You can work with that. To that you have 225mm of base penetration with AP and 246 with APCR. And here already you get a little bit of an issue, which is the pen rates aren't that good. They are very, how should we say, lackluster. Yes, that's a little bit annoying. The thing is though, also with it just being a 360 alpha gun, it doesn't really have big caliber. As far as I'm aware, it's a 105mm gun, which leads to problems when it comes to penetrating stuff. You know, you don't have the overmatching which you can help, or which you can need to help with penetrating more tougher opponents. Something like the, what's his name? The BZ-176 on his little roof flap. So that is annoying. The other thing is, base DPM is alright. It's obviously not good, but it is alright with 1894 with its 11.4 second reload. This is okay. The main issue is, if you will just shoot on that reload, basically, you have an accuracy of 0.42. If you wait an additional 4.6 seconds to in total 16 seconds, you will get 0.28 accuracy. So that is very, very accurate. So obviously in an engagement or after repositioning, your shots or your first shot will be very accurate. The main problem is that if you want to stay with this accuracy, well, good luck, because then you will only have a DPM of 1350. Yikes. This is not really going to help you or going to make things interesting in any way for you. Could be better, definitely. However, the other thing is, which is fairly interesting, you have 2.3 seconds aim time, which is not bad. You can live with that. The main problem is I sadly don't know what the soft stats of this vehicle will be. In total though, gun looks okay. Could be better. Could be worse. It's fine. Mobility wise here, it's a little bit odd. You have 35 kph top speed, which is alrighty, I guess, and you have 12 kph in reverse, which is, you know, could be better, could definitely be better, but it isn't. The other issue is it only has 14 HP per ton ratio, so it kind of feels like you have to use a turbo. And adding to that with the very low HP for technically a very strong armored heavy tank of only 1500, you will most likely also need the HP, which is annoying. If you imagine that, hang on a second, you most likely also need the rammer, obviously, and a stabilizer, most likely, because your gun is very inaccurate when you don't let it cool down. So I'm not sitting here thinking, you know, when you compare this tank to some other tier 8 heavy tanks, for example, the Tiger II, it's not really a fair comparison, because the Tiger II is just right now meta on tier 8, which is kind of nuts. But it has the same alpha with the same penetration, at least on the standard rounds. We don't talk about the premium rounds because the premium rounds are so much better on the Tiger II. But you already have around 250 DPM more with comparable accuracy. The accuracy of the Tiger II is 0.3. And here you have 0.42 if you want to have that DPM. Adding to that, you also have 100 hit points more on the Tiger. You have a more convenient layout with the hull to use. You also have pretty good turret front armor with 245 since they buffed it, which means that most tier 8 tanks can't really pen it without premium rounds. Obviously here it will be interesting to know, does the Type 57 have really 300mm of armor? Or is it, for example, like the Löwe, which has pretty good turret armor, except if you immediately hit straight at the gun, because then you have only like 200. As far as I'm aware, the Type 57 should have a cupola. It's small and it's a little bit in the back, but it should have one. So I guess this shouldn't be the biggest issue. The other thing will be, though, you can see it has a massive lower plate, and this lower plate will be its weak spot. The other problem is, at least this is how it is in Blitz, because this tank already exists there. It has this lower plate, which is looking at you, and then you have two angle plates, like this, before it goes straight down. This leads to this tank having not a good time side scraping. Yeah, it will be very interesting to see if this tank even can side scrape. At least the upper side armor is fairly angled steeply, so there will be a lot of bounced shots. Yeah, we also have 380 meters of view range, so that is nice. One bigger issue in my opinion is the crew layout. It consists of a commander, a gunner, a driver and a radio operator, with the commander also most likely being the loader, which is odd because that is not really nice to use. I'm just assuming this here because, hey, this is the same crew layout the Type 63 will have, the tier 8 premium, which you also sometimes see around driving thanks to the SuperTesters. Yeah. Needless to say, if you for now want to prepare a crew for those tanks, you can theoretically get the heavy tank number 6 and just train your crew there. The tank is good, the tank is fine, and it has a radio operator. But it also has a loader, so yeah. Wrapping it all up, the Type 57 with also 380 meters of fuel range, which is pretty nice, but not the best, obviously. It looks interesting. The main problem is just that it has two weird gimmicks. The cooldown mechanic is like, just why? You know, from a player's perspective. Probably Wargaming wants to introduce this cooldown mechanic to try and slow the game down, which makes sense, right? Because this is one of the major, how do we say, points of discussion, to say it nicely, that you just lack shorter games, longer games. And with such a mechanic, they might want to introduce better DPM, or rather worse DPM for better accuracy, so your shots count more if they hit. But it also is kind of like you handicap yourself because all the others don't really have this weird gimmick. Additionally, it also has the hydropneumatic suspension, and we don't know at what speeds they will start going, because if it's just 12 kph, that is very slow and very annoying. If it is just at 10 kph, because there are those funny situations where if you drive in reverse, you lose your hydropneumatic suspension. That will be very annoying because 12 kph is already very nasty. Yeah, in the end, this tank, it looks interesting, but it's super hard to judge because we don't know the armor model, we don't know how it will behave with this new funny mechanic. And the other problem is, guys, why would you play this if you could just play a Tiger II, which basically, except for gun depression and HP per turn ratio, does everything better, you know? And the Tiger II is meta at the moment. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope we'll see you again. And yes, this is a little bit of a separate setup right now. I am at Key's place. So thanks, Keyhand. Goodbye.